Testing. Blah, 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 blah.
Ready, set, go.
It's time for the Coach Amy and Coach Liz show.
A podcast for endurance athletes by two athletes, two coaches, and a physical therapist.
We are your hosts, Coach Amy
And Coach Liz.
coming to you from
Kansas City.
Hello, we're back for another episode. So I have a follow-up from, we had our podcast about iron. So if you guys haven't listened to that, you might want to take a listen. And I was running with my good friend, Dr. Carrie Grounds. She's an OBGYN, so if you all know. And because I was curious about her take on the whole, when you enter menopause, you might not need an iron supplement anymore if you were one that was running low and needing to take iron. In fact, there is a risk for iron toxicity, and she confirmed that, and that she sees a lot of patients that have been on iron supplements, and when they enter into menopause and she does some blood work and tests, she's like, whoa. In fact, it can be so high that you have to go in and or the recommendation at that point is that you go donate blood.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yes. And so if you are one of those people that you just, because you don't think about it, you don't know, and maybe you don't even talk to the doctor about what supplements you're taking anymore, and you just keep popping them. This is what I've been doing for 20 years, 25 years, or 30, or whatever long you've been doing it, and you think that's just part of the routine until you die.
Right?
But guess what? That's not the case. So, if you're one of those people out there, heads up, check that out. And then the other thing that I just reminded myself right there is I have had a couple athletes who suddenly they become super fatigued, and all of a sudden, and like the workouts become super, super tired. And there's reasons that happens, and you're looking at everything and you can't figure out what it is. And it's, oh yeah. And then you hear, you realize that they've donated blood. And you're like, oh, hello. No. Let's do that during the off season and then have a little recovery from that. Because you guys, that depletes you, and running depleted like that isn't good for you. So if you're in the midst of training, you're just going to have to, it's wonderful for people. There's such a shortage. Not saying don't donate, just be mindful about what that does to you, and you need to do it at the right spot during your training, unless you want to take a little rest break. It just takes a while to pull up those stores back. So, yeah, okay. All right, there.
How about that?
Extra notes. All right, so what are we talking about today? Swimming.
My favorite. We're going to talk about flip turns. When I posted about this, I have gotten a lot of shit from people because people I got some people who get really, really mad that I would suggest that triathletes could use flip turns.
Why? Who gets mad? Who gets bent out of shape?
I've gotten some feedback online, I'll just say. Like some people gotten pretty worked up about triathletes don't need flip turns and that kind of stuff. And
okay.
I'm like, well,
industry people kind of saying that.
It's been a variety, but people who really thought they had they knew expertise. What they were talking about.
Okay.
Definitely. Okay. I mean, I think they were athletes who just...
we are here to set the record straight.
I'm like, for you, they may not be. I mean, so I think people think of... Triathletes are thinking of flip turns as a skill. Like it's a skill that they don't need. I'm thinking about flip turns in terms of how you can progress your fitness.
Ooh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like you don't need, from a skill perspective for a triathlete, you don't need flip turns. Your open water does not require anything like that.
That's what I would think.
Yes. Yeah. But if you want to think about it in terms of stages of development for swimming for fitness, then flip turns are in there. So the way that I would, when swimmers get to a wall, and you're not doing so let's first back up. This is a progression in swimming that comes after quite some time. Like this is like kind of one of the last things that most people would introduce, for a fitness progression. So, for some people this is years, for some people they don't get to it. So this is it's like you're leveling it's one of the last things you can do to level up your swim fitness.
Like
as
a fine tuning.
Like a fine tuning kind of thing, only you're going to get more out of it than just fine tuning. But yes, so it's quite possible that many triathletes will never need this. I am clear on that before anybody yells at me online. But at some point, it's when you go to a wall and you turn around and you're stopping and you're coming up and you're not doing a flip turn. So what that means for people who aren't swimmers is that you come to the wall, you hold onto the side of the wall, your head is above water, you get a nice big breath, you turn around and you push off.
I love that breath.
A lot of people love that breath. And there's a couple things about that. One, you don't get that breath when you're in open water.
Right.
And when you're doing a flip turn, you come into the wall, you hold your breath, you are then flipping in the wall, and as you flip, you blow out all of your air. So now you are oxygen depleted, you push off the wall and you start swimming. So there's a huge impact to your cardio with that.
Which is, you're saying, maybe a benefit to your training load.
Because it's gonna increase your cardiac capacity.
Okay.
It's also gonna change how you are able to swim, and it's going to help you improve your muscular capacity as well. And so, I likened it to if you were go out and doing mile repeats on the track.
Okay.
And every 200 you got to stop and bend over and take an extra breath, how that's going to impact the work you're getting out of the mile, right?
Yes.
It's very different. And so.
Oh my gosh, Levi, you guys, Liz, I am so sorry. I have to apologize for my he has somehow become a little like teenager or something here.
That's so cute.
Levi, that is no. Okay, let's see if Levi just wants to be part of the podcast. That's all.
Can we blame him?
No.
He feels passionately about
fun.
flip turns.
Yes. Okay.
So, and so if you think about that from a running perspective, which I think most people can probably relate to better, is that one, you get that break every 200. That really changes how you're working for that mile repeat. And the other thing to think about is that if you are running with people or if you are swimming with people and you are trying to like get some fitness benefit by working with other people and pushing yourself, it's not always a good idea. Sometimes you need to do your own workout, but there are times where groups can really help push you. And if you are able to do a flip turn, it is going to allow you to work with other swimmers and push yourself differently.
Yeah.
Especially if you are reaching a point where you want to swim with real swimmers. Like you're going to be able to, if you're trying to hang on to somebody's feet and you can't do a flip turn, you're going to lose them most likely much faster. So it changes the work you're doing and it will improve your fitness. And again, it's a high level next progression for that swim, but there is a place for it in triathlon.
Yeah. I like that because I asked about this early on because, my husband tried to teach me a couple times and the water got by my nose in such a way that was very stingy and uncomfortable. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And really, in terms of my ability to like swim and do all the stuff.
Absolutely.
Like you're right. It's not, I'm not ready for that. No. That was not a part of my, that needed to be a part of my training and experience at that time. And if I had kept going with the sport or if I returned to the sport, especially listening to this, I can definitely see and understand why you would want to do it and it would be helpful. And then I can do that at that time if I want to learn how to do it properly and not get it up my nose. So I can just see how beneficial that would be.
And I want to be really clear because you are going to be fine if you don't do flip turns. These are not something I'm saying is for everybody. Very well, you can still get a really good workout without them. Yeah. It is a fine-tuning progression that some people have an interest in taking, and there is benefit to it if you're interested in that.
Yeah. And you made up the good point of being able to join sort of like in group swims and everything, because I would get invited all the time to go to master swimming and, oh, Amy, there's the slow lane and it's okay and you'll be okay there. And I'm like, you know what? No, because I've watched it. And when you say hang on to someone else's feet, you don't mean actually holding on to someone's feet. And I knew that, but sorry. But that just means, sticking close enough. And I watched them cycle around and get it done. And I'm like, I would just be a cog in the wheel and everyone would hate me. And then they would be really nice to me and like be like, it's okay. I'm back.
They would be nice
the whole time.
Okay,
and the stress of it it was enough that I was like, I am stressful enough in the pool. I don't need to add that pressure to myself. But I can see how valuable it would be to swim with other people, just like running with other people and biking with other people. And, so
it teaches you how to swim hard and how to chase somebody. Like there's just benefits that you don't necessarily, especially when you swim by yourself, and especially if you're not a swimmer, you would have no way to know how to do these things or what the different things are that kind of go into getting good at that sport. You would have no way of knowing. Right. And and so anyway.
But now we all know.
It's something worth considering, and it can be fun to learn something new. You know, like at some point you get bored and you're like, it's really hard to break through, or it's just like you want something to learn how to do something new. And you know, flip turns are hard.
Yeah.
And you do get water in your nose, and you want to learn them slowly, and like you don't necessarily just start putting them into your
and you feel
practice.
A little discombobulated.
You do.
At first.
They're not
like,
easy
which
to
way's
learn.
up, which way's down.
Yeah, they're not easy to learn. But you know, it's good to expand our horizons. Thanks so much for listening, and remember,
we are in this together. Until next time.